I will start off with the update with Rigo. Um, Obviously, his procedure went very well. He's at home resting. We're very optimistic. We're very thankful for the doctors and for how well everything went. So we'll get him rested up, and the prognosis is very positive. As far as the Texans go, right, another road game against a division opponent, good football team that is, they're on a little bit of a roll night right now, 3-1, in their last 4 games, scoring a lot of points. Obviously got a premier defensive player in J.J. Watt. So we're locked in to have a great week of practice. Just as far as injuries, we'll just kind of defer that to the injury report later on. But we'll let you know that, that Jonathan, is off the COVID list. He's in the building today and anticipating him to practice today. And then we'll let you also know that Philip will not be practicing today.
Mike Chappell.
I guess 2 things. Is Philip just precaution like you did last week, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. The other question is, you talk about Houston's kind of on a roll and they're scoring a lot of points. You guys, the last 3 games, obviously, you've gotten off to slow starts. At halftime, you've been behind. We've talked to Falus about it. How do you change that up? And I mean, it's something that's got to be fixed, I assume.
No doubt it has to be fixed. Usually things like this, right? You try to put your finger on one thing, but it's usually never one thing. So, we've talked with Falus. We've talked about changing things up in practice a little bit to maybe how we rep things out. Try to get going in a few ways, try to create a spark in a few ways. So, we'll continue to, and then some of the answer is always just play it a little bit tighter, a little bit more fundamentally, good fundamentals, play it with speed. And some of it is, you give the other guy credit. They're, as you guys know, offenses are scripted in the first 15, 20 plays, and usually they have their quote unquote best stuff in the 15 to 20 plays. Well, that's when we got to bring our best stuff. We got to find ways to stop that good stuff that offenses are bringing, and we'll continue to work on that.
Zach Kiefer.
Frank, I'm thinking in hypotheticals here, but hypothetically, if Braden was to move from the right to the left, there's probably a lot more that goes into it than a lot of us know. I'm just curious. I know you're not an offensive line coach specifically, but what are the challenges that would be on Braden's plate, let alone he's got the thumb that's probably still bothering him a little bit?
Yeah, no, I think a couple of the challenges that hit you right off the bat are obviously different stance. It's a different stance, and so different pass set. Braden's really good. I'm sure he can handle that. Different on combination blocks. Now he'd be working with Q rather than Glow. There's a different feel there. You get used to working with a certain guy. Those are the 2 big ones that hit you right away.
George Bremer.
Coach, back in 2012, when Chuck Pagano was diagnosed with leukemia, Bruce Arians came out and said the team was going to make the playoffs and allow him the chance to get back. Bubba kind of mentioned yesterday that they thought if you could do things well enough and play long enough, maybe Rigoberto could come back. Is there a sense that, maybe make the playoffs so that he has a chance to play again this year?
We're focused on the Texans. Fair question, obviously, because we love Rigo. And we did talk today to the punt team about, hey, in Rigo's absence, let's have our best effort, because Rigo's our guy and, one of the best in the league. So in his absence, however long that is, let's be at our best. But I don't mind telling you, the prognosis is positive for Rigo. So, we're hopeful, and we're hopeful it's not months, we're hopeful. I don't know. It's, this is out of my league, but the reports we're getting are very positive.
Kevin Bowen.
Hey, Frank, I've got 2. First is, who will punt today at practice? And I guess, are you any closer to signing a punter?
Yeah, we're in the process, going through the protocols on the punter. So we've switched things up in our schedule, Kevin. So, there will be no kind of live punting today. Obviously, Rod is stepping in to fill in the body when we're kind of doing the walkthrough reps. So that's how we're handling it.
And then will you use practice this week to evaluate the left tackle spot, or will it be, hey, whatever we're doing on Wednesday, we got to have, that in place for the next 3 days?
We have our plan going into it. There's obviously, we have plan A and plan B. So, that's how we'll go into it. We'll go into it with a plan A is to do this, and that's how we'll get most of the reps during the week. But we'll obviously have a contingency plan.
Joel Erickson.
Frank, why do you think the defense has had some trouble in first halves lately?
Yeah, Joel, I think that's a tough question to answer because I think it's more than one thing. And as well as our defense has played overall, when you look at the numbers and when you look at the body of work, I don't think there's anyone that would disagree that our defense has been overall top notch. So why do we have this one little Achilles heel or whatever we want to call it, this one little glitch, this one little fatal, no, I don't want to call it a fatal flaw, but this one flaw, and how we've started slow on on a few too many occasions. We'll just keep working to get that right. We'll just keep working to get that right. I know that the players are dialed in, the coaches are dialed in. So we'll try to get that corrected this week.
Jim Aiello.
Yeah, Frank, as far as Anthony goes, what does that process kind of look like? You said you wanted to kind of get him out there, let him test the leg or the knee. What does that process look like, and when will you be able to kind of tell, how much time he'll miss?
Yeah, talked to AC for a while this morning, and just he's been around. This guy is right. He's a finely tuned athlete. He knows his body, so we'll trust him and the doctors and the trainers, and just kind of giving him the freedom to, to test this thing out as he sees fit, how he feels. So, we just decided not to lock ourselves into any formula other than, hey, you just keep pushing it a little bit every day, and we'll make that. There's no reason to say, hey, this is going to be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. There's just no reason to say that. So let's not put ourselves in a box. Let's just keep working at it as you can and try to get a little bit better every day.
A little bit like T.Y. Hilton a couple of years ago, Frank, if you don't mind me asking, kind of just where you just let him.
Yeah. I mean, you got that level of trust in a vet, in a guy who's, had this injury before. So, let him feel it out, trust him, and, and then just work with it day to day and see how much progress he makes as the week goes on.
Okay, we'll go two more. Charlie Clifford.
Coach, a win Sunday in Houston for Rigo. What do you think that would mean to him at home?
I think it would mean a lot. I mean, Rigo is a consummate team player now. I mean, this guy, or you talk to this guy for a minute and you know that he loves the team. And he's all about the team. So, and the player, we all know that. This team knows that. This team loves Rigo, respects Rigo. He's a leader on this team by the way he plays, by his attitude. So this is big. It's a guys, especially the guys on the punt team, want to know that, hey, we got your back, Rigo. So, and the way that you have his back is you just do your job. You go out there and you use good fundamentals, good technique. We have a good week of practice, and that's really what we focus on.